Right, so this is just going to be a very quick, rough edit of a file to turn some text over. Let me just start with the STL file that came from the original author, load it up into 3D Builder, and this is, what I'm saying now is this is rough. This is rough, quick, not necessarily the way that it should be done. But it's just a demo to show how it could be done, and how I did it just as a quick way of doing it. Take a couple of minutes and we can flip the text over on the side. So when you first open it in 3D Builder, it's going to ask you what the units are. Default is millimeter. It's normally the right one. Now, in order to switch this text over so that then when it's mounted upside down, it's the right way up, you need to separate this model. Now, with some models, they're multiple parts. You can hit ungroup up here and ungroup. This isn't. This is a single mesh. You can't do it that way. So we're just going to split it up. So if you use the edit menu, and we're going to split it. Now, by default, it only keeps part of it. So what you want to do is flick it to keep both. And this green line will show where it's going to split it. Now, in order to keep these edges have got very small curves to them. So what I don't want to do is slice this half and split it over, because the same curve is in the bottom. It's going to look a bit crap. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to rotate this. You want to get this to 90 degrees where it says pitch 90 here. If you can't quite get it all the way by moving it with the mouse, just click on that box, type the number in, hit accept, it'll put it in the right place. Then you can drag the coloured area. We want to put it just to the side of the lettering, so that what we're going to do, we're going to chop this a rectangle out around the lettering, so we can flip the lettering over. Now, see how there I've made a mistake. I didn't know what I was doing, so I buggered it up on that one side. So Control Z to undo it. Do it again. Flick to 90 degrees. Slide it up. Now we know the lettering on this side sticks out slightly more than the other side. So let me just push it to... Oh, now that means that what I did yesterday probably isn't quite right. What I want to do is get it just to the edge of there, but still keeping that little curved top piece if I can. If not, we'll have to do it in a couple of other slices, but let's try and do it this way. That's about right. So split it there. Now it selects both those parts, so you've got that part and that part selected. So what you want to do is click the part you don't want. You only want to split this one now. Going to do another split. We're going to split it at the other end. Same sort of thing. Get it up to where the lettering is. Yeah, check it's all right on that side. Bring it inside of that line, because we just want a flat rectangle that we want to spin over. Now we've got 3 parts, so deselect that one. Now what we want to do now is we want to split across the top and the bottom, so above and below the lettering. So we keep those nice rounded corners at the top and bottom. Just make sure it's above on both sides. Again, deselect that one, so only the bottom bit's selected. Go now just below the lettering. Check it's okay both sides. Bink. So now we've got this model in multiple pieces. This centerpiece is still one piece all the way through, but we only want to flick the lettering over. So what we do now is we split again. So, okay, I'm going to type it in this time because it's a bit harder to get it right here. And I'm going to slide this up now. We bring this split to the surface. You can see where it's splitting through the lettering. We want to take it just behind the lettering, but we don't want to take it too far because there's a little chamfer in here. We don't want to flip that over. It doesn't really matter how far we go. So now we've got this piece with the lettering on separate. And if we want to, we can slide it out and you can see there's no lettering through. That's the bit we want to flip over. Now I'm just going to press Control Z, put it back where it was. I'm going to rotate again. I'm going to flip it over 180. It's not quite right there, so type it in again. Now that looks pretty good. If you look really carefully, because it doesn't necessarily align properly, there's a little tiny split there. Now the easy way to sort that out in 3D Builder is once you get used to it, if you sort of slide apart, you can, it's almost like it snaps when it finds an edge. You can sort of see it jumps. So all you want to do is snap it there, lift it up, down again, snap it so it's in the right place. Now you might still see a little line there, but don't worry about it. Just want to make sure that it's definitely as close as can be in the right spot. And it looks like there was actually originally a little split there is off the original split, but that will get sorted out when we do the next bit afterwards. Now we do the same this side. So that's still attached there. We split that one. We rotate it vertically. Get it to 90 degrees on the roll. Yeah, it doesn't want to sit at 90, so let's just do 90. Again, use the little move button to move it roughly to the right place. Split it, unselect that bit at the back. Rotate this around, so that pitch needs to be 0. Then just snap it, and that's it. And it's done, mostly. Now, what we'll do here is we'll save it. I didn't want to do that. I just hit save, which overwrote the original file. But I've got the original file in a zip file anyway. Normally I do a save as. It will go up as an if you do save as, it will come up as a 3MF file. You can save it as 3MF because we're going to do something else next, or save as an STL. STL is normally easier. Now you can still see that there are separate pieces here. So if you were to print that, and you did it on an FDM printer or resin printer, it doesn't really matter. If you did it hollowed with some sort of infill, you're actually going to have solid faces internally where those joints are. Now, you can, if you really want to, try this, but I don't particularly like it. You select everything off the right hand side. If you go to edit, you've got a merge function. Now the merge function combines it all into one exterior mesh, and it will say please wait at the bottom, and it will carry on going. But it tries to reduce the outside mesh as well. You'll lose some of the details. So if we zoom in a bit, when it finishes, you've got a nice curved surfaces here. They're probably going to go a little bit crappy. It depends on the model. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Wait until it finishes. Yeah, keep waiting until it finishes. Come on, it's only a simple model. It should be quicker than this. So, and I found the merge function in other tools like Mesh Mixer does a similar thing. You have to sort of mess around with the few sliders and sort of play around with it till it looks roughly right. There we go. You can see that all sorts of weird craps happened where it's merged. I mean, it looks like it's a crap there in that corner. It's reduced the quality of these corners. You end up with all these little bits in place. So what you don't want to do is that. So I'm going to close it and I'm not going to save it. Now I'm going to take the file that we just created that's got multiple parts in it now, reopen it in 3D Builder, and you'll see a red box appears around it. Now that 3D Builder has detected that there are faces internally that shouldn't be there. So down at the bottom, got a message saying click to repair. You click to repair. Now it would be really nice if there was a repair option in the menu. It doesn't have it. Now the repairing does a much better job of combining the parts together into a single part than the merge does. The merge is crap. I don't understand why there's two different ways of doing it, because they both seem to take the same amount of time. So what should happen is once this repair finishes, that will now be a single solid shell again, and it will be much nicer than it was when we tried to use the merge. The merge obviously tries to do some calculating of fitting bits together. This seems to just remove the internal faces and not bother trying to recalculate the surface, which is massively better. And I use this all the time on really detailed small models where I combine parts together. It's massively better. Just give it a bit of time. It may seem like it's stalled sometimes, and you might want to go away, make a cup of tea. But I think I've only had 2 or 3 models in the past 2 years where it's never finished a repair. Obviously, there was something far too complicated for it to deal with. But any moment now, it should finish. Come on, got to be almost there. Yeah, I mean, resource-wise, it's not too bad. I'm just checking Task Manager. It's only eating 9% CPU, 295 mega RAM. It's not a particularly complex model. It can just take a little while for it to sort out what it's doing though. what I don't want to do is sort of trim this video, cut the video, come back with a little bit at the end saying, ta-da, it's all done. I'd rather just leave this repair. There you go, the repair's finished. At least leaving the repair finished. You can see that that's what's happened. If I now hit save, again, it's going to overwrite the STL file, but I already overwrote it on the previous step anyway, so tough crap. That file now is a single mesh. If we open it with 3D Builder, there's no red boxes, there's no error messages, and then if I open that with use Chitterbox because it's easier to see through a model with this than other apps that I've used. So that's what it looks like in Chitterbox. The details look pretty good, and if you use the slider, it's solid. There's no empty voids. There's a funny triangular thing there, but that must be part of the original model, where there's a triangular shape that doesn't quite fit. It's off by, it's off by one layer in here. I've got this set to 0.03 of a mil layers. That's what it calls but it's solid. That's the main thing. There are no hollow voids inside. There's no weird issues inside. There's no splits in the surface, and that's what you want to see. And that's it. That's how simple it is, or can be. There's probably better ways of doing it. You know, professional model editors may say, yeah, you don't want to do that. That's gonna you cause all these weird issues, or that's not the way to do it. There's a better way of doing it. But it's quick. It's simple. It works. You know, anybody can do it. Hopefully that helps. And that's it. I'll sign off.